Hello everyone, I'm Steve Braun from the BGB studio.
I'm Risa Garcia from the same BGB studio.
Very same one. So here talking today about this time of year, which is an interesting one. So you have September, back to school. Everyone wants to get back into a class or do some work. And then there's the holidays, and that takes all your focus. Then the new year comes, and everyone's ready to get back to it. Then pilot season, and then before episodic season, there's this period. And people think, you know what, I'm going to step back a little bit. I got my ass kicked during pilot season. Nothing really happened, or it did. I got to take a break. And it's not a bad thought that let's step away from this myopic focus on the business for a second and take care of myself. But this is a really important part of the year in an actor's life. Why?
Well, because it is time to pay attention to what really matters. It's time to really give yourself the gift of play and the joy of the work and the work for its own sake, and not worrying about, you know, will I get auditions, will an agent hire me, what will my headshots look like, blah, blah, blah. All those things that take you away from yourself, right? And from your love of the work. Definitely.
Now's the time to fill the tank, because when the wind starts blowing again during episodic season, or whatever you want to call that, and the agent's calling or not calling, and you're in there auditioning with, you know, fancy people, and you're the self-consciousness and the anxiety, you need to have a full tank, a full creative tank, so that you can focus on what matters. And really what this is, in order for you to suffer the slings and arrows of the industry, is you need to be a happy actor. And a happy actor is someone who loves to act.
And acts for the love of it all the time.
That's right.
So you don't necessarily take a class so that you could learn how to, you know, work in front of the camera, and you're not going off and doing, you know, branding classes, and you're not running off and getting tons of headshots. You're finding a way back to the thing that brought you to this in the first place.
And what that is play. Now is the time, May, June, perhaps even into the rest of the summer, is to play. Take a second and think, what about this gets me off? What do I love about this? What do I need from this? What brought me to this in the first place when I was 5 or 6 or whatever? So let's go act like a penguin, you know, for 3 days.
Like a penguin.
But figure out what that movement is. Like whatever ridiculous thing, sans judgment, without any of the thing in your head that says, yeah, but how's this going to help me get the job? It will. And that's the other thing of this, is that it can feel like, you know, when your sister, who's the systems analyst at Omnitech or whatever, calls and says, what are you doing today? You know, to further your career or whatever.
I'm being a penguin.
I'm being a penguin, and you know what? That's the work.
It is.
So you're different than a lawyer.
Because it sets you free.
That's right.
And you get back to the love, the play, the fun of it. We're not talking about crawling around on the floor like you might have done in college, you know, because that's the only thing that you were doing. You were being lions and penguins that day. But if there's some way for you to find this release and this freedom and just to let yourself go, you have to get to that kind of work.
Ask yourself the question, what do I want to pursue? Is it Shakespeare? Because, man, I had a great time doing that. Or I never really have gotten into that and want to. Or Alexander, or whatever it is. And that's what...
Or rumba dancing.
Anything at all. And what we're doing at our studio for this summer is really focusing on that. And again, you can call it whatever you want. Whether this is just, hey, this is just you know, a time for me to have a good time. That's all this needs to be. But this is also business. This is for your career. Because your soul has to be set on fire by this work, or else you're going to go away and do something else when it gets icky, and it will. It's going to suck. Everyone, even people who run a TV show, at some point this turns into work, and it's difficult, and you got to fight for it. And so you have to be showing up with all your weapons intact and a full love of the business.
And you see that, you know, we just went through pilot season, and the only actors who really were successful in that room were actors who were doing this because they loved it so much, because it brought them joy, because it was really juicy fun, you know. And those of them who came in like to get hired and to get loved and to do it right and all that stuff, they fell down. So it's a constant reminder that this kind of work is what books you work.
This is the work that allows you to respond to the email that comes in when your agent says you have an audition with, oh my God, I get to act next week in some tiny little room on you know, Burbank Boulevard or whatever.
To embrace that gift because you're so fully in it and of it that it just continues to feed that love.
I mean, so now we're fostering gratitude, a deeper exploration of the work, because whatever you do with this period of play is going to serve your work in some way. Even if it doesn't seem like, you know, it's a direct serving of it, it will. It loosens you up. It opens your heart. It brings some generosity to your work.
I also think, and I've seen this so many times, because actors will come here to try to figure it out. And I see that they've strayed so far from what it was that ignited them in the first place, from the thing that brought them to this love of acting. That as you've said, they've given up everything for this. Right. They've moved across the country. They've given up the kind of life that their friends may be pursuing back in their small town, and they've shown up with this incredible hope and desire and need, but in this process of auditioning and trying to get an agent and trying to book work and trying to manage the money, they've given up that wonderful thing that they fell in love with, and that inspired them and sparked them. And so as soon as they come back to that, as soon as you come back to that, it all starts to make sense again. Right. And you can do that by doing theater, by creating your own work, by writing something, by being in a class that is about that. And that's, again, we're focusing on that this summer because we all need to remind ourselves and remind you that this is the most important thing that you will do for yourself and your career.
What we're doing is we're shoring up the why.
Yeah.
Why are you doing this? And that's a question that becomes really, really important. Like I said, when you get beat down by the business a few times or a few thousand times over the course of 3 years, if that why is not clear, one of two things are going to happen. Either you're going to walk away, which if that's what you need to do, that's what you need to do. Go back to school, do whatever that is.
Sure.
Or alternatively, you're going to float. You're going to say you're an actor, but it's not really happening. You're not really pursuing it. You're pouring drinks at some bar or whatever, you're driving Lyft or whatever you're doing, and 5-10 years goes by. You want to know the why. It's so important.
And it actually bolsters any other work you have to do to make money, what your day job is, and it brings you back to yourself. And you have to be doing this because you love it. You can't just be doing this because you want to book a co-star.
So go play.
Yeah, play.
Get out there.
Yeah.
Figure out what it is that you want to pursue. Sky's the limit. And go act like you did when you were 5. Like you're running through some field somewhere pretending you're whoever you're pretending
to be. A penguin.
Be a damn penguin.
Yeah.
I want to be a penguin.
Come be a penguin. Be a penguin. But just remember that this is the thing that is the most important thing of all. And it's worth exploring. And it's summer. Have fun.
Yeah.